Is that we got who else we got? We got
Yeah.
Roy Girl here.
Yeah,
Consider
we're streaming to you live and
yeah,
international wide here on netrootsradio.com and Spreaker simulcast.
something
Eh,
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So that works.
of course
Coming
it
to you
does.
live from Manhattan, of course.
Manhattan.
Yeah,
Manhattan.
that's how that works.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where
yep.
I have a friend who recently last year moved from Chicago down to Florida. And so yesterday I was asking him how he this morning asked him about if he missed Chicago in the snow. He went, "Hell no."
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, like a migraine. Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
this has been a banner week for me. Um, I just the last few weeks, and for those of you listening, um, who know that I have a yes, I really do have a podcast slash live Blither hour on Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. That hasn't been happening because I'm now working on Saturdays through January 9th, and then I get a 22-week vacation. And then I go back to work after those 22 weeks, working that hopefully. Um, I've had some other. My depression reared its head, kicked me in the ass, and between that, my ADHD, I just haven't been able to get it. I've been able to focus, but not get anything done. Um, so thank you, Adderall. I can focus and not get. I can focus on procrastination now.
Yeah, that's how it
It's
works.
perfect. Yeah,
Adderall makes it possible
just
to
focus on procrastination.
yeah, pretty much. We're like a 417-717-1454.
Yeah.
That's how you get out here and just
On
get
the
done
other
with.
hand, I worked 53 hours last pay period over the course of 3 weeks, and I'm repping a major computer manufacturer, and I was actually I'm representing Dell Computers, um, and on behalf and I did 2 weeks at the new Microsoft store before I begged them to send me back to Best Buy.
Yeah,
They had the week prior to opening. They're like jacking the Microsoft is jacking up the sales reps and everything, and it sounded like a fucking. I started calling it Balmer Youth rallies because you'd hear them, "Arr, yeah, arr, arr," and then you'd hear this rave music going on downstairs, and you're just thinking, "Oh my god, no more
yeah,
Balmer." It was just like too much, but um, it's really cool to see that laptop designs that you thought went away like a decade ago are still being used. Like the big thick
yeah. There you
laptops.
go.
Remember the
Yeah,
big?
like
Remember
the
you guys
twisted
remember the
stick
big thick laptop that actually was actually your desktop, and then you would take it to your job site. They weigh about 5 pounds. They look much heavier, but
or 6.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, huge.
what Dell has done, and I haven't really seen this seriously. I've not been able to see if the other brands have done it. But they've taken their older laptop bodies and just stuffed them with um, USB 3 and just upgraded all the internal components and still using these older chat bodies and
Why not? Yeah,
keeping the lines on the market, and Dell still has their precision line and their latitude line, and frankly and I'm not just saying this because I rep Dell and yet I'm a Mac user and currently a Linux user, but Dell seems to have the same amount of brand loyalty that Apple does.
yeah. Could be. It could be very
I
much
mean,
so.
I have seen people come in with 16-year-old Dell Latitude laptops that still work,
Yep.
and somebody, and the only reason they're giving up their laptops is that the software, their internet browsers are no longer updatable.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Along
um,
with everything else,
well, no,
nothing is.
if it still works, you can, and if you still have
Yeah.
a printer that can print with a serial port, a 16-year-old Dell Latitude running, or any computer 16-year-old computer running Windows 98 will still print. If all you need is to type letters, you don't need anything newer than that.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You
If
know,
all you're doing is writing and printing, that's pretty much it.
yeah.
So
But
I see
and
a word processor at
yeah,
that point.
most people, they're loyal to like a brand, and HP has like the largest. H Siri, and this is before I went to work for Dell. One of the things I noticed about why Dell is like really really popular is that they always have one or two models on sale. They always have something on sale, and I don't see that with any of the other brands. I don't see
Yeah,
that with
especially
Lenovo.
with Apple. You won't see it with
No,
Apple
I
enough.
don't see it. I don't see it with Lenovo. I
I don't
don't
think
see it
they've
with
ever had
Asus.
a sale in their
Oh, they
history.
do. You can always
Okay.
tell with Apple. You can always tell when they're going for a refresh because their current line will drop in price.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
That's how you know they're going to refresh the line.
Yeah.
But in the PC market, Asus never is. Like I said, Asus, Lenovo, Toshiba, Acer. I've never seen them have everything on sale. HP always has at least one or two laptops on sale.
There you go.
Always has something on sale.
So at least you can get something. You
Yeah,
know. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah.
But that's why
I,
but
I
that's
know.
why people go and buy them, because they buy what's on sale.
Yeah.
They buy the sale.
That's wrong with that.
They buy the price.
Exactly. Man.
But
Yeah, we do. It's one way to get something. I guess is like say better than nothing. Anyway.
yeah.
So there you go.
So anyway, I worked all these hours, so I actually treated myself to after I paid all my bills. My God, I was able to pay all my bills this month. I might be
Yeah.
able to do it next month. I might be able to do it through January. Maybe I'm going to have to put money away so I can pay my bills over the next after this thing ends. Um, unless I can somebody decides to buy paintings from me or something, which you can do by going to Etsy.com and shop Kelly's Artist to Date. You can see my lovely, some of my lovely abstract paintings because I really do need the money, folks. Um,
Yes.
I am
Yeah.
trying to be self
Exactly.
sufficient, and so far I'm doing pretty good. But I could use more. I could use more. I could use patrons of the arts.
There you go.
Just like if you're listening to us right now, you can become a patron of Netroots Radio by going to patreon.com/netrootsradio
Yeah.
and become kick in $10 a month.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And
Uh,
help keep our servers online because we've got some very very dedicated,
even
awesome
even a buck or
people.
two a month doesn't hurt
Some
anybody. It's a
well,
cup of
awesome,
coffee essentially. Yeah.
awesome people um, on the San Carlos Apache Reservation that are keeping us up and running. And
Yeah. Yes.
and
Yes.
so they're the guys they're the ones who we pay, who are being paid because without them we wouldn't be on the air.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or we would, but you would have to listen to us on Spreaker via the internet,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't be
Talk
all
better
yes,
from
and
I don't know what goes on there.
you know,
Yeah.
and you can.
Much rather do it our way
Oh
than
yeah, and you
that
can
way.
also join us in our chat room if you're not listen
Yes. Yes.
which you can find us by at the bottom of our homepage, which is netrootsradio.com. You'll see a link to the QEIRC chat room, which is hashtag Netroots Radio.
Yeah.
I'm totally incapable of doing two things at the same time because I have ADHD. Now, you might think that would allow me to do it, but no, I will get involved in staring at the chat room, and Wink will have to fill for the next 50 minutes.
Yeah. No problem. We can do something with something, but still, it's better off you
As he
got
has done when
chat.
I've come home from work so freaking tired that I fall asleep like I did last week.
Oh, it happened. That stuff happens.
I was just, man. I'm having as you right now. I'm going to give you a teaser as to what I'm working on for my next Blithercast. Is the New World Order bullshit? I found some. I've been like getting back into just going. There's some great shit that people have like scanned and uploaded to Scribd. And there's a whole bunch of New World Order Illuminati shit up there.
Yeah, it's out there.
And all the conspiracy theories. And the Illuminati shit goes all the way back to 1789 to the 18th century. Now, there was an Illuminati group in Spain earlier than that, and they were called the Alumbrados, the Illuminati. And what the Illuminati doesn't, what people don't quite understand is that the Illuminati exists. It really, truly does. And you get tricked into becoming a member because as soon as you realize that they exist and you start talking about it, you too become enlightened. You too become illuminated. And therefore, you become part of the New World Order cabal. Think about that one.
How about that? Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, yeah.
I'm working on some stuff with that, and that's that's one of the things that illuminated me about all this nonsense. And there's phone calls, conference calls you can listen to where you hear this nonsense being repeated. But the biggest thing that pisses me off about this New World Order shit is that the heavy layer of anti-Semitism that runs through it, and this desire and you know um, like, oh, the Rothschilds, bankers. That's all code. And then they start talking about the myth of the Khazari mass conversion, which to Judaism, which where all the Ashkenaz Eastern European Jews came from. That's a myth. An entire kingdom did not convert to Judaism. An entire kingdom converted to Christianity. That was Rome. And if we Jews were so freaking powerful, do you really think we would have allowed any other religion to come into play? Do you really think seriously, think about it. If we're running the show here, why would we even allow anybody to talk about us? Why would we allow ourselves to be persecuted if we ran the show? Think about it. It's kind of like, segueing into that, what I'm hearing, and I think what a lot of people with some sanity are hearing from the two front runners in the Republican Party, say is that Donald Trump would not have let Jews into America prior to the outbreak of World War II. He would have been right there amongst those saying, no, don't let them in, and sent those 900 Jews back to their deaths. Well, not all of them, but about a third of them died in the camps. Anne Frank would have survived if she had been allowed into the country. Anne Frank was sent back, was not allowed to emigrate. And then we have Ben Carson, who essentially called Syrian refugees what George Wallace and other white supremacists in the South called African Americans who were fighting for their civil rights. Rabid dogs. And Carson actually has a white supremacist on his campaign staff now. Do you not see a sense of irony? It's just like, is he somebody's, you wonder if he is actually you wonder if he's David Duke's puppet. If David Duke has his hand up Carson's ass.
Could be.
Because this is a man who's old enough to remember the civil rights era, and what Black Americans endured while fighting for their right, for their birthright to be treated as equals in our society. And then you have, creatures like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, both of whom families had a very special preferential treatment because they were Cubans. No other immigrant group had the preferential treatment of as soon as you set foot on American soil, boom, you're in. Only the Cubans. And there's were a whole string of Cuban terrorist acts committed in Florida being perpetrated against those that were seeking rapprochement between D.C. and Cuba. Conveniently forgets that whole thing, that whole terrorism thing. You know,
Yeah,
so
it's I don't know.
so
Yeah,
you know, and
conveniently forgets is the thing.
exactly because
So
it
yeah,
because and
it's there to be seen if you want to look
and
for it.
and
So, yeah,
and I had to stop. I had to stop watching like cable news because they were just it was all nonstop. You know, lionizing of these mass murderers. I think that yes, report on it, but don't talk about the bombers, who they were, what they looked like. Don't put their fucking pictures up
yep,
because you're giving them the martyrdom they seek, the memorializing of them.
oh yeah,
Just like you know, um, McVeigh's picture never should have. You know, these people who commit mass murders, they should be denied the publicity. Their names should never be mentioned. They should, my feeling, the news media should do to mass murderers what Rome did to the province of Judea after they crushed the rebellion and destroyed the Second Temple. Wipe it from memory.
there you go.
My Jewish Hanukkah is next week. In fact, first night's the day after Thanksgiving.
So yeah,
And I had to send an email to myjewishlearning.com and inform them that at the time of the Judah Maccabee and the Greek occupation of that region, it was Judea, not Palestine. That is how successful Rome was at wiping Judea and Israel's memory out of history.
yep, yep.
And by the way, folks, Palestine is Latin for Philistine. You know, Goliath, David, Goliath.
Yep, yep.
Ancient enemy kingdom of Israel and Judah. Think about that. So it was deliberate. It's what they did.
Right.
So, rant over.
Yeah, here we are.
And you're listening to the Roundhouse Power Hour of the Roaring Girls rants here on netrootsradio.com and
It's all good stuff.
Spreaker.com.
You get to learn a little bit what's going on, and it's kind of
Yeah.
relevant today, even. So I mean, you got asshats like Carson.
I mean,
out there
I
on the
don't even want to mention
trail.
their names. I mean, they too should
No,
have their
no.
names wiped from memory
Yeah, they should.
because they're you know, we as Americans like to believe that we are better than that. But deep down inside, we can, we can be extremely vile. You have this jackass mayor in Virginia that said, "Oh, the internment was, we should, the Japanese were interned. That was, thinking that was a good thing.
Yep, yep.
Hey, you interned. You probably everybody thought interning the Native Americans was a good thing, good idea too. And segregate, and sicking dogs on other on dogs. Dogs used to be dogs. Large dog breeds like the Mastiff, including the Great Dane, were what Henry V was referring to when he said, "Let loose the dogs of war." These dogs, like even though the Rottweiler may be a contemporary breed, but the Mastiffs, they were war dogs. They were bred to take down horses and human beings, and they were
Right.
let loose onto the battlefield. They're banned as weapons of war, and yet we can't use sick dogs on people in war, but there was no compunction about sicking dogs on human beings during protests in the South. And these are the same people on the right, and shamefully some on the left, um, who wouldn't hesitate, in my opinion, to set dogs on people in crowd situations to induce panic
Right.
and chaos. And I don't know about you, but um, I made it. I've often said this. My father was a Holocaust survivor. He was also part of the underground. Exactly what his role was, we not really sure, but we do know he was guarding collaborators after the war, and then he became a translator with the British Army. And we still have, or my brother has, the yellow star that my father wore. And and with this whole bullshit thing about databases and special IDs. Well, in
Yeah.
in 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 Hungary, Bucharest, I believe, they found this trove of documents that were, basically, let's find out where all the Jews live and record their
Right.
addresses. Fucking Germans created databases of where all the Jews lived so they'd be easier to find. And I made a decision, and which I got the idea from somebody else on Facebook, that if that shameful day comes, I'm going to I will wear a star. I will wear whatever. I will, put myself
Yeah.
there.
Where the old yellow. Yeah.
And that's to honor not just the 6 million Jews who died, but the other 4 million Romani, communists, Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses, um, uh, disabled, the other 4 million people that were murdered during Hitler's during the savagery of World War II. Because we always say, Jews always say, never again, never again. But we let it happen in Rwanda. We let a genocide happen in Rwanda. Um, and I think not so much that we as Europeans were indifferent to what was going on. It's just that we didn't know how to respond to that type of intertribal. Whereas more, Romeo and Juliet, Hatfield McCoy's sort of thing. Whereas more, families, this tribe and these two tribes going after it. But the seeds of that.
Well, there was no playbook, so I mean, you're
Well, there was
flying blind.
well, no, there was a playbook, and it was hate speech radio,
Yeah, there you go.
which
Yeah.
ginned up the Tutsi against the Hutu. Just as we were hearing hate speech radio here, which was ginning up the right against the left.
Yeah.
Same,
Yeah, they continue to use those tactics to conquer, divide, whatever. I mean, it's
Well,
just
it's not to divide and conquer.
nonstop.
You don't divide and conquer. It's to incite violence. One of the diarists on Daily Kos coined the phrase stochastic terrorism, and he was talking about that in terms of Glenn Beck. But if you think about it, when you listen, the broadcasts that were going on in Rwanda that stirred up, the internecine warfare, the violence and the near genocide was stochastic terrorism. because hey, they were just like giving out their playbook. They weren't actually going out there inside doing the violence themselves. It's not their responsibility if somebody picked up a machete and started hacking somebody else apart because they heard from their favorite um, radio, hate jock,
Right.
that X, Y, and Z were like evil people.
It still continues up to this day, as they say. So I mean, it's just a
Yeah,
nonstop barrage of this nonsense,
yeah. So I've
and
taken to
the
watch.
listeners eat it up.
So as I was saying, when I had enough money to pay all my bills this month and have enough left over to get cable and a TV, so I've been binging on things like Cops and Dumbest,
Yeah,
and
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you guys have ever watched it, but um, on the History Channel, Modern Marvels.
Yeah, yep.
Yesterday's uh, program was on the Library of Congress and all the work that they do in, um, you know, I was considering when I heard how many volumes and how many floors they had of books and films and prints and photographs and everything. Our Library of Congress is today's Library of Alexandria. It houses Thomas Jefferson's English translation of the Quran, which was the first translation of the book.
How about that? Yeah,
It has all of George Washington's diaries, has like priceless photographs of, throughout history. There's a whole library devoted to black photographers and and WPA artwork and um, political chart. I love the political cartoons of the 19th century. They were just amazing pieces of artwork, of engraving,
right.
and it's just amazing. Their cinema collection, everything. You know, um, and it's like
Huge, huge
four. It's
collections.
huge.
That's
It's
for
like
sure.
it's like four buildings. It's
Pretty
like
much
three. It's
everything that's been on film is there.
yeah. And
I
they
mean,
were
not
they were
every movie, obviously, but there's a
well they were
probably about 80% at least, I'd say.
they were showing you know you know when they're looking at the archivability of a compact disc. They can see how much there was a change in how they were coded, and they can tell by the coding when the disc was recorded, and they can also tell how much repair is going to be needed on the disc. And they use scanning electron microscopes to um, test papers for the optimal method of preserving them. The proper temperature, humidity, and all of that. And it's like it's amazing. It's just fascinating. It was just, and I had to go to work, so I couldn't watch all of it. And I was like,
It's a lot of work and it's a lot of technology
it's a lot,
involved. That's for sure.
and
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that that they are like doing a lot of the groundbreaking technology with digitization, and getting high,
Yeah.
and showing how
Right.
they can like do 100 scan. They can digitize 100 pieces of art a day. Think about that.
Yeah. And
Because
catalog it, categorize it, and blah
yeah,
blah blah. And get it.
because they have to like make sure it's dust free, and they have to handle it very carefully, and then they have to put a glass plate over it to protect it from and then they have to make sure the glass is perfectly clean. There's no dust on it or anything. Then they do the scan, and then they have to check the scan, maybe redo the scan. It's just an amazing amount of dedication and just the idea of being around that much history. I can't see anybody being bored with that job.
No, I couldn't either. That's got to be an outstanding job.
You know,
You come across everything.
the audio people looking at restoring audio and how to preserve, like I said, compact discs so that they can still be you know played.
Yeah.
And digitizing and making sure that whatever they digitize can be it's and then keeping the paper because that's the best way to archive something. This is why books and newspapers and magazines are never going to go away, because digital formats change.
Yep.
Like people are all up in arms because when like digital formats change, the latest version of GarageBand, as people were complaining about, it did away with its podcasting feature and won't even allow you to re-import your other pieces. You can still podcast with it, but it's a pain in the ass. And
Yeah.
and in looking at it, what Apple did, and I'm kind of peeved about it because I used GarageBand to record my podcasts because is basically focusing it more on maturing it more into a way of creating loops, and
Yeah, it's more music focused as far as
it's more focusing on
writing,
music. But one of the things I did
producing.
notice is that you can still you can do a podcast. You just can't do
Yeah.
the links within the podcast. Things like but you can't do the hot links. If you're doing a visual podcast. But one of
I
the
guess
things,
they just figured there's so many people out there doing that, you can find it
not necessarily, but I think what they did is that
streamlined it a little
people
bit.
streamlined it. You can still podcast with it. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. You can't open up your older versions with it. But I've got a feeling that Apple will make the older version, the previous version, available to people that want to use it for podcasting.
Oh, they almost got a
or strip it
archive
down, or
version.
strip it down and turn it into a strict podcast app.
Yep.
Because
exactly.
that way, GarageBand's not schizophrenic.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Adds two identities and yet.
Yeah, still being able to use Apple Loops and all of that stuff. Because it's very easy for podcast creation. You can use Audacity, but it's a pain in the ass. Ableton you can use for podcasting. In fact, you can find a template for podcasting with Ableton, but it's a pain in the ass because it has a kind of steep learning curve.
Yep.
But if you can master that, then it's a piece of cake. Then you can import loops and do all sorts of stuff with it, even though it's designed as a live performance application. GarageBand on the iPad only allows you 10 minutes.
Yeah, as a
and you still have
as a preview kind of item. Yeah.
Well, no, not as a preview. You can because it also has to do with the amount of space storage. Got to remember, 1 minute of music is 10 megabytes of drive space.
Yeah.
So you've got that going on. So you've got to think about the amount of storage. On the iPad, if you want to actually use, something for podcast recording, there's an awesome app called Auria. It gives you 24 tracks to begin with, and you can upgrade that to 48.
There you go.
You can purchase plugins, loop packs. You can import loops and music from Dropbox. Its big disadvantage that converts everything to a freaking WAV file, which is huge, makes it huge, but it's but it's uncompressed. And then then you can you can do your recording and that, upload it to Dropbox, download it. There's an extra step to convert it into an MP3, for and do all the tags for iTunes or whatever podcatcher you're using, to syndicate through iTunes or Libsyn or Podbean or whatever.
Right.
If you want to do a video podcast, like I had been doing with with GarageBand. I was you kind of, if you want to upload your podcast to Facebook, you almost have to have some video in it or some pictures in it, because you can't just upload sound to them. It has to be video with sound. It's bullshit. Unless you upload it to
it is
SoundCloud and then embed it. It's
yeah.
There's ways to deal with it. There's ways, but they're pain in the asses. But once you get used to something, it's like being used to Windows 7 and then having to figure out how the fuck to use Windows 8.
Yeah.
Or being on XP and wanting to upgrade to Windows 10 and discovering you have to go through 2 more steps to upgrade, 3 more steps really, to upgrade to 10.
Yeah. It is. It's crazy. Yep.
And then you find, to make it even worse, some of the stuff you really liked in Program X you can't find. They've buried it. They've rearranged things. I mean, you can now find the control panel, but fuck all if you can get to the terminal.
Right.
It's
making it more and more difficult to do that.
Yeah, because Microsoft is going to service provider, which means they're turning the laptops into dumb terminals.
Yep.
What we call the cloud, you used to call a server.
Right.
Everything on the cloud is no different than when you were at work, and everything and all your applications were stored.
It's essentially a third-party server. Yeah.
Where they were in servers in another room or in another building completely.
Yeah.
You're going back to that. And some people don't like the idea of having to pay a yearly subscription to be able to access their creations.
Right.
Like Adobe, you've got this subscription service. Don't pay that subscription, you cannot access any of the work you've been doing on, because it's stored on a server. It's not stored locally.
Right.
By going subscription, these companies are extorting you, because they say, well, if you don't let your subscription lapse, you're not going to be able to use your even retrieve your work till you pay us.
Pretty much.
Which is why if you're going to use any type of a cloud service for work, store a hard copy somewhere where you can use it, and make sure you've got
external hard drive or something.
Yeah.
Yep. Make sure you back it up. Yeah.
But on the other hand, Adobe made one of their editing apps available free for tablets.
Yeah.
So that's always good. I can't remember. I don't have my iPad near me. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm selling Windows-based computers, and I'm using Apple products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got got it all covered. Got all bases covered. That's for sure.
But of course.
And it's just a matter of getting in the right hoop and loops and make sure you got everything connected right.
Yeah.
You're good to go. But
and for those of you that are listening on Netroots Radio, if you want to continue listening, because we're on Spreaker as well, we're on another simulcast, another stream. We can continue talking after we cut out of once we kick into the show that's following us.
Yeah.
And you can listen to us blither on for much more or not. We'll decide.
Yeah.
Because, as you can tell, I'm shy and retiring.
There you go. Yeah. It's I like it. I like the whole concept of it, but I don't know about the GarageBand kind of doing what they're doing. But there's a lot of programs.
The
out
other
there that
the
deal
other
with
thing
the
is too is
podcasts,
that
so.
Apple is highly responsive to the user base. That's why I'm saying they will probably make an earlier edition version, the previous version, available as a download for people that need it for podcasting.
I believe they will. I believe they'll do that too.
I also believe that the reason is that they probably heard more from people that wanted to use it more for music creation and didn't like,
Right.
We don't want, what's with this podcast thing, we don't use
get
it.
that thing out of here. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was too.
So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. As far as music creation goes, it's an excellent program.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah. 24 tracks, something like that, and
Yeah.
you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. And easy editing, the whole bit. I did a movie.
And the drawback to GarageBand's great product, but if you want to like have different effects on a line, you can't do that. You have if you put like compress. If you want to like put an echo in one spot on a track, you're hosed there because you have to duplicate the track and then edit that, and then apply it, and then you have to edit that section you want to apply that effect on, and you know, cut everything on either side of it, and then apply that to. So it can get really messy,
It can. It took me quite a while
and
to edit a
and
4-minute
they're
music
not
video.
going to turn GarageBand into Logic by any means. They're going to like see what bring stuff into GarageBand to make it, I think, a little bit more flexible for people that don't want the learning curve of Logic. And there is, with all these professional digital audio workstations, there's
Yeah.
always a learning curve
Oh, hell
going
yeah.
along with that. I mean, I am I learned. I went to and learned, got certified in Pro Tools, and I still and I was still having problems with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and for all you folks listening out there, Pro Tools, Avid went back to their Pro Tools free thing, their freebie, their free version of Pro Tools, and it's called Pro Tools Live, and it's available for Mac and Windows. So if you want to check out that, I mean, it has a
That's
track
back
limit.
in action. Okay.
Yeah, it does have a track limitation, and you need an iLok for the plugins.
Yes.
That's to prevent piracy, which I'm all in favor of you buying what you use. I mean, it's kind of sad when one of the world's most when a major celebrity in the electronic dance music world was actually busted by a fan because he was using cracked plugins. He was using a
Right.
cracked version, cracked software rather than actually buying the fucking software.
Right.
And this is
Right.
somebody who can afford the fucking software.
Yep. Yep. We should actually probably do our show on putting together a podcast on
Why
one of these
not?
nights. Yeah,
Sure.
we can do that.
Sure. We can do that.
Both of us are pretty well versed in that, I
Yeah.
guess you could say.
And for, well,
Uh,
actually, and also for those of you that see, there's also a free piece of software, multi-track software called Audacity, and it's available
yes.
for Mac, Windows, and Linux.
Yes.
And there's a
It's
couple
awesome.
of really good books on podcasting with Audacity. One of which is called Getting Started with Audacity, and I did a review for that particular book, and
Right.
it's very basic. It's very much directed towards the beginner. It tells you, how to install it, how to set up it, how to use. It has a timing app, so you can like set it. I want to record for an hour. You can just start now and stop at this time, and I can set it to auto record, and then you can just record and you just keep blithering on like I'm doing now. Um, and then you can edit,
Yeah.
add, and because it's multi-track, it's a great piece of software,
It's free, which
and
is the
it's
key
free.
word.
And like I said, there's a lot of good tutorials out there.
And I could easily sell that for $25, and
Yeah,
it'd be well worth it. No
yeah.
question.
And then you do your editing, and then you can import it into whatever, and then you can if you want to do a visual, a podcast with GarageBand, you can open it up. I actually saw that you can actually open iMovie, so you can actually do slideshows with the podcast. You can't embed. I don't think you can embed links into the images like you could with GarageBand if you're doing like a video
Right.
sort of
Right.
podcast video thing. So you could like get people to click links and shit like that. But that's sort of fallen away. And
That's good editor. No question about it.
it's good at, but yeah, it's got it's a really good piece of software.
It is.
You know,
Pretty much do everything we want to
yeah.
for your
I mean,
podcast. There's no doubt about that.
Adobe
I-
Audition is a good piece of recording software. It was even better when it was called Cool Edit Pro, which
There you
was
go.
before Adobe bought it and basically emasculated it.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
I saw sound engineer Dave Huber give a demo of it when I was getting trained as an audio engineer, and when he was demoing stuff that at that time Pro Tools didn't have. Beat detectors are now ubiquitous in digital audio software, workstations. And that's
Yep.
and that's like when you need to find the beat of something. You've got a piece of software. There's a little app program algorithm that will actually find the beats for you. Cool Edit had it first. Logic didn't have it, which at that time was Mac and Windows, and had a
Right.
freaking dongle you had to plug into your computer to be able to use it.
Yeah, in some cases, you do have to do that with other pieces of software too, but it's not so much,
Yeah.
a thing these days as it
Well,
was maybe five, six,
dongles
seven.
are going the way of the world because they're not really, because you
Yeah,
can store your license, because the dongles were how you knew they was the little piece of software that had the license in it that said this was authentic and paid for.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but they're going, like I say, they are going the way of the dinosaurs. So
Well, you lose an iLock key, you're screwed. You have to go out and buy
yeah,
another
true.
one, and then
Yes, you
re-download
do.
your
We've had
your you
issues
had
with
to
that too.
you and then it's like fucking pain in the. I mean, I had to do this with Pro Tools in my early editions of Logic, and it was a pain in the ass. It's a freaking pain in the ass with the iLock with the iLock, and they had to do this because people were cracking, were stealing the software. Yeah, it's expensive, but there's a reason it's expensive. It's the quality of it, and that's
Yep.
I think one of the things that says a lot about a lot of Linux users is that they're pissed off that a new digital audio workstation called Bitwig, the developers are asking people to buy it,
Yeah.
and people making music on Linux are just incensed. How dare they? Well,
Right.
between that and then you take a look at Ardour, which you know, which is pay a buck, this that, if you want, you don't have to pay it if you just want it and you don't care about updates or anything, fine, but if you do a subscription thing, then you'll get all the updates and everything. The people who use, it's all behind this free software thing, but if it's not, if you don't pay for it, even throw a couple of bucks, not throw 10-20 bucks at these guys developing the software you like, so they'll continue working on it and make
Yep.
so
Continue to support it. Yep.
support it. I bet that's the whole thing. You ask people to pay for it on Linux, and they have not a lot, but I've seen a lot of people in the Linux audio subreddit complaining that Bitwig's asking us to pay for this free software. Then don't use it. If you don't want to pay for it, don't use it. I'm sure you'll find a way to crack the demo version so you can save and export.
Yep. Yep.
But the only reason you've got this piece of robust software is because the developers are getting rewarded for it. I understand the concept of free software, and I have no argument with it. But the other thing too is that if you're doing, if you after a while you could say, gee, this is taking up all my time. I've got to get something back, but you're not. It's like great, anecdote is about, woman comes to a dressmaker and wants a wedding dress, and the dressmaker quotes her a price, and the customer looks at her and says, I don't think I should pay that. I think I should only have to pay you for the materials and everything. The dressmaker said, okay. Wedding day comes, and the dressmaker delivered the fabric, the scissors, the decorations, the appliques, everything. And when the woman complained about that, says, well, you didn't want to pay for it to be made. As the saying goes, don't work for free. It's not appreciated.
Exactly right. Yep.
And while all of us at Netroots Radio, with the exception of the awesome Apache and Sunscreen, we appreciate each other who aren't getting paid for this, because we're doing it because we love what we're doing, and hopefully, you know, we will see a little remuneration,
Well, it
maybe within the next
provides a
century or so.
platform,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah, and it
we-
provides a
this thing
platform, and
provides a
we
platform
we
for
really
anybody who
do
wants.
take calls, and you're listening to Netroots, the Roundhouse Power Hour, um, and eventually I'll even come up with like audio stuff for so we can have like breaks and stuff like that, and you can breathe and figure out, and you can call us. We really would like you guys to call in.
Yep.
And the only thing we're blithering on is that you're not calling in, and that's 417-717-1454.
Yeah, if you got something out there, if there's something happening, I noticed the Democrat did win in Louisiana.
Yeah, Vitter's career is over.
Yes, and
Which is, and the mere fact that
Anyhow,
there's now somebody sane in Louisiana is an awesome, is a good sign. I'm still like love the IRA. Well, now that we've got somebody in Texas going, oh my God, our gun laws are too lax because non-Christians coming into Texas. Will we see a second Mulford Act in Texas?
yeah, how about
Will
that?
we see the NRA coming out in favor of tougher gun laws in Texas
No,
to prevent
I don't think so.
non-Christians from getting
Yeah,
firearms?
we don't want
Because
to. We don't want to
you
have
have
the
to remember. I have a friend who's a Persian Jew, and he would be insulted if you called him a brown man. Brown.
Right.
And what they're doing, and they're making this more about a racial thing rather than a religious issue. It's a religious issue, not a Muslims are not a race.
Right.
It's a religion. The only religion that has been made a race that people have made a race of has been Judaism.
Yep.
There are white Muslims, as we saw with the Boston bombing. There are white Muslims, as we saw in Europe. There are Italian Muslims, Greek Muslims. Muammar Gaddafi wasn't brown.
Right. It's a growing concern. It's this whole thing grows and
see,
expands.
this is the whole problem. We all that anybody is focusing on is skin color. Has nothing to do with skin color. Has everything to do with religion, with belief.
Yeah, it's
all about belief. It has nothing to do with race.
I still like Obama's approach to this thing, which is basically more towards a laissez-faire than it isn't totally laissez-faire, but
the whole thing is that we're damned if we do, damned if
he
we don't.
does not want to get the troops
Oh,
involved.
he's perfectly correct about that.
Yes, I agree, 100%.
See, and this is why the lunatics in these fake Muslims, just absolutely want to see a Republican become president again.
Yeah, they want to get back into the war business here.
Yeah, play right into their hands. And right now, the Republicans are doing exactly that with the fear mongering. Why are you behaving as a fucking fifth column for them, a cheering section for them? Why are you playing into their hands? You're fucking smarter than that, or so we thought.
You would think so, but apparently not. I mean, I don't know. I don't quite get it. I thought they were smarter than that, but I don't think so. No, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say,
especially since we're
rattle,
you see what
saber rattling or whatever.
Well, the other thing that people on the right don't understand, there is already a nation founded on Sharia law, and that's Saudi Arabia. They just sentenced somebody to death for apostasy and insulting Islam, and you got Saudi Arabia. Who's because of the price of oil is falling, they're becoming cash strapped. Allegedly,
right.
the kings are, Nobody else is, since they own all the oil fields. And the sad thing is about what's going on in Syria is that we can't fight if we're civilized nations fight with rules, go to war with rules. We don't gas. We
Yep.
don't use dogs. We don't do X, Y. We don't use bagpipes to. But prior to the Geneva Conventions, there were the only, basically, the rules of war. It was horrifying.
Yep.
No, we're accustomed to the ultra violence in movies, and now we're seeing it in real life, and we're horrified by it, and we don't want to fight the way And yeah, I'm warmongering right now, but we can't fight a European war styled war with rules, a gentleman's war. Marquis of Queensberry with the rules of gentlemanly war behavior. Because you're going to get your asses wiped.
Yep.
And
Obama's.
and we have to also remember is that we're not in any danger. I mean, the terror attacks occurred in an area that, as far as these terrorists were concerned, had Islamic Muslim apostates in them.
Right.
They weren't targeting anybody. They were targeting the apostate, the secular Muslims at Bataclan and that neighborhood and something,
Yeah, which happens all the time at this time of year.
And if some some infidels happen to get blown away as well, that's it. But secular Muslims are in more danger. I mean, there was a list. There was a list published of essentially of cities that the terrorists, the murderers, these madmen had said they were going to attack. And looking at California, they were Solvang and Hanford, Carlsbad, California, small areas, small towns.
Right.
I mean, there's a military base at Hanford or nuclear plant at Hanford, in Hanford, California. But I'm looking at these targets, and these are just like this, And I would guarantee you that if you looked at those populations, you would find a number. You would find that it had a Muslim community, and that most of the Muslims were secular Muslims.
Yep. We got about 30 seconds. We got to get out of here. We're running
and actually
over
next week I want to say to everybody, Happy Hanukkah.
Yep. Yes.
And have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. And maybe next week I will give you guys the recipe for. Oh, that's the other thing. If you hate everything that Islamic, fucking give up donuts.
There you go.
Because fried dough was actually we Sephardic Jews like to lay claim to donuts. It was actually buñuelos were actually brought to Hispania. Well, the Jews and the Moriscos brought them in came at the same time. So essentially, yeah. But fried dough donuts are Muslim. Stop drinking your fucking coffee.
There you go.
Let's see what else. Well, we all hate algebra.
Yeah.
Stop wearing cotton.
Do it again next Saturday night.
Same bad time, same bad channel. And call us, please. You can call us.
Exactly.
Write this number down, 417-717-1454, because Wink's got his finger on the button.
Yes.
I don't, because I just don't have that type of capability.
There you go. Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Well, okay. I don't know.
Are we out?
If we're still on Spreaker,